Hi, my name is Usama Ikram, and this is my project number 2 for the Programming Methods 2 class. So I have done a Minesweeper game in Java using the GUI. So I'm gonna just run it first and show how it works, and then I'll go through my code. Okay, so it asks you first for the grid how many number of rows you want. Let's say I'll go with the easy one first. Let's say 5. Number of columns, let's say 5. Number of bombs, let's say 10. Okay, so this is the grid, 5 rows, 5 columns, and there are 5 hidden bombs there. Okay, so I have made like a little cheat to show if I don't press a button and I press all the buttons with no bomb, it shows the message that I won. Otherwise, if I don't have that, it was gonna be hard for me to win the game because it's a hard game. It's a luck game. Okay, so let's see if you press false. Okay, there was no bomb. Now the number 4 is like how many bombs I have surrounding that button. So in these buttons, there is 4 bombs. Okay, let's say I put here 1 bomb. Okay, I'm gonna try to hit the bomb first to see what it does. So here, I have lost because I clicked the bomb. There was 10 bombs. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Okay, good. So 10 bombs, it reveals all the bomb. If you click a bomb, it shares the message that you lost, reveals all the buttons, and that is what it is. Okay, let's say it's play again. Okay, this time I'm gonna try to not hit the bomb and show if I win or not. Okay, I'm gonna use my little cheat. Okay, so there's no bomb here, there's no bomb here, there's no bomb in the first column. Okay, then there's bomb, there's no bomb here, this is bomb. Okay, okay, okay. Here and here. Okay, here. So 10 bombs. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. 10, I didn't press any bomb and it says the message, congratulations, you won. Okay, if I close it, it closes the game. Okay, I'm gonna try to run it again, and this time I'm gonna try to put different number. Let's say 3. 3 number of rows, 3 number of columns, and let's say I'll do 3 bombs too. So here, a tiny 9 buttons, grid. Okay, this time I want to show there's a 0 here. Okay, if I press a 0, what it's supposed to do is it's supposed to reveal all the surrounding buttons too. Okay, here, it reveals all the surrounding buttons. It disables them too, so you can't click them. You can't click the button once the button is revealed. And let's say if it shows the message this time again, if I won, congratulations, I won because there was 3 bomb, 1, 2, 3. Okay, if I play again and this time I click the bomb, it's gonna say, oops, you click the bomb, you lost. I'm gonna try one more time, and this time I'm gonna try to put a bigger number for number of rows and number of columns. Let's say press A. It is a nice button. Okay, how many bombs? Maybe 8 times 8 is 64, so it's 64 buttons. Let's say 30 bombs. Okay, here is the grid. 0 reveals the surrounding buttons. True is 30 bombs. Okay, no. One more time. The last time I'm gonna try, because I'm trying to see if there is 0 consecutive buttons with 0. It reveals all of them like in a path. I'm gonna try with 10 rows, 10 columns, and let's say 20 bombs. So I will have like a consecutive zeros. Okay, here. I'm gonna try to make it a little smaller. Okay, here. So these zeros, they are consecutive. If I will hit one of the 0, it's gonna read all this, the surrounding buttons that are surrounding the 0 buttons because the zeros are consecutive. Okay, let's say I hit this. See, so that was supposed to reveal these buttons, but then there is a 0 in there, so it reveals the surrounding buttons too. Let's say if I can find that zeros, so it's gonna reveal all the surrounding ones. Okay, from bottom, fourth row and fourth column, from bottom, fourth row and fourth column. Here, see, it surrounds all of the surrounding ones got revealed. Let's say, okay, I'm gonna try. I can't try to win it. I probably will lose it at some point if I hit a bump. If I don't hit a bomb, then it would be nice. Oh, I hit the bomb. I lost. Okay, so this is the game. And now I'm going to try to go through the code. So this is the grade class. We were provided with the UML. So I use the same UML that we were given and made that grade class. There are 3 constructors. There's a default constructor that puts by default 10 number of rows, 10 number of columns, and 25 bombs. Then you can also give rows and columns, number of rows and columns to the constructor. And then I put a check here. Let's say because you didn't give any number of bombs. So by default, it was going to give 25. But let's say if you give the number of rows and number of columns in a way that there would not be enough buttons, it would be less than 25 buttons, then what? Because if let's say there is 3 number of rows and 3 number of columns, I put a check that it doesn't give 25 bombs, because then you cannot put 25 bombs on 9 buttons. Same way on the other constructor, then I have the regular getters. I have the bomb grid, get bomb grid array method, the same way get count grid method. So these are the basic methods. I'm not going to spend a lot of time. Okay, so in the create count bomb grid, which is a 2D array, so what I'm doing is first I'm assigning false to all the indices using nested for loop. To assign all the indices, I'm giving false to it. Then I'm using the random class and taking 2 random numbers, which are random row and random column, and then going into the loop. So what is happening in the loop is you get a number, so there is a count too, like, okay, how many bombs? Start with the 0. And then you increment once you place a bomb at a location. You get a random row, random column. You go there in the array. You put a bomb there, which means a true. Instead of false, you put a true there. And then you increment the number. Okay, number of bombs placed. Let's say if there was, you get a number and there was already a true there, then it's not going to do it. And it's not going to increment it, because you didn't place a bomb there. You already placed a bomb there and you already incremented your number for that. So this is what it does there. And then in the create count grid, what I'm doing is I'm going into the loop. I'm going to all the indexes one at a time. So let's say I'm at the first button. It's gonna check how many buttons, how many true statements, how many true are there in the surrounding buttons. I'm gonna just say buttons. In the surrounding indices, how many true are there? And then if there is a true, it's gonna go, like, it's gonna check all these conditions. Like, first is checking if there is a button surrounding it. If there is a button surrounding that on the left side, on the right side, on top of it, on bottom of it, diagonal, back diagonals. If there is a button there, okay, good. There is a button there. Go into that button, check if there is a true or false. If it's a true, increment a button number of bombs surrounding. At the bottom, at the end of that, you give that number to that location. And similar way, you go to every index and check how many true are there on the surrounding indices, and then increment the number and then assign that, and that will be my count grid. I used a small method print to print the grid, like to print the both 2D arrays, so I can see where there is a bomb when I'm playing as a cheat. So this was my grid class. Then I have a Minesweeper class. This is a GUI class. So what I did first, I created a class which extends the J frame. I have a few variables. I use the static variables. Then I have a variable for the grid class to make the grid object. Then the panel, that's the regular stuff. So these are just some J option pan input to take the input, like how many number of rows and number of columns and number of bombs I want. I'm using the J option pan. And then I'm checking those. I'm using try catch here because what if a person would enter some alphabet in it, and then if there is an error, it's just gonna assign a default number of row and number of column and number of bomb there. And then I am using a private class which extends the panel and implements the action listener. So here I have an array, 2D array for buttons, where I'm gonna save all the buttons. And then I have, so first I'm gonna show what I did with my button. So I created my own class which extends the J button because I was having hard time to find if a person would click a button, what location is that button is at. So what I came up with, that I made my own my button class which extends the J button. And what it does is it has two variables, row location and column location. So what I would do is when I created the button, so I created a button by using for loop. So at that, I'm giving that number of row and number of column to the button, it to inside the button class. There's two variables, and I'm using getter to get them, and I can just assign them with using the constructor my button, and I can know at what location that button that the person would click would exist. So I can use that number of row and number of column for my grid class to see if there is a bomb there and what is the count there. So that's what I wanted to just mention a little bit. So what is happening in the panel class, the board. So this was the board, which is a 2D array. Then there is number of buttons clicked. I'm gonna count it because I wanna count it so it can show that if you have clicked all the buttons, how many buttons you have clicked to check if you are a winner or not. And then this is just a board, the constructor, the default constructor with the layout. And I'm using a display board here. A display board, what it does is, let's go to display board. So display board creates the button. I'm creating the buttons in the display board. So the board, new board, okay, it's new class with number of rows and number of columns, the array, 2D array. Okay, I'm using a for loop to go to every index. So now nested loop to go to every index of that my button kind of type of board 2D array. And I'm creating a new button there with a row and column, which is row and column, which will be the same as loop. And I'm creating the button. I'm putting a size there. I'm giving font thing, the regular stuff, and enabling it, adding it to the board, to the panel. This dot add board, that button added to the panel. And that's how it's gonna show it. So that's how it shows it, giving a little colors and stuff, the font color and stuff. And then the action listener. Let's go to action listener. This is the action listener. So what is happening in the action listener? Once you click the button, I can now access the row location and column location. Using that row location and column location, I can get the count. If there is a bomb at that location, okay, what I'm doing is I am accessing an image of the bomb, and I'm just setting that icon with the image. And using the for loop to reveal all the buttons. Once you click the button, it reveals all the buttons. So using a nested for loop to go to every index, if there is a bomb, show the bomb. If there is not a bomb, then show the count. And then ask the user the display win lost. I'm using a J option pan to just show the message. It doesn't, so it's just one class. It takes a string, pass that string to the J option pan message dialog, And I'm just using one method to show both um, the messages to say, sorry, you have clicked a bomb, you lost, or sorry, congratulations, you won. So I'm using the same method. I'm not creating two different methods for the different messages, just passes different string. And if you don't click the bomb, let's say, then there is a count there. I'm going to display the count. Then also, if that count is 0, then I'm using a reveal surrounding button method that would reveal the surrounding buttons. So count is 0, you go to the reveal surrounding button method, which takes a row and column, means around that row and column, you reveal the buttons. Same strategy, if there is a button there, go to that button. If that button is enabled, means if it has already been revealed, then you're not gonna do it. If it hasn't been revealed, then you're gonna reveal it. So if it's enabled, okay, good, it's enabled, you go into there, you get the row and location of that button, you get the count, you you put it, you change the text of the button, you disable it, you also increment the number of buttons clicked, so it will, the button increment that the button is has can show the winning message if the number of buttons has been clicked, all of them that doesn't have a bomb there. And then if the revealing button, that the surrounding button, that is also 0, then I'm using a recursion to go back now, to go to that location, and that row and column, like the surrounding buttons, if that is also 0, now surrounding that 0 button, I'm going to reveal all the buttons too that are surrounding that. So here I'm using the recursion. And if it's not, then it's going to come out, it's going to check the next button, the surrounding button. So that's how it's going, checking all the surrounding buttons. If it's a 0, using the recursion and revealing all the surrounding buttons, reveal surrounding tab buttons of that button. So that is what is happening here. Is the and ask play again method is just a method, just yes no method. It closes. Clear board. Now if the person says yes, so I'm going to use the clear board method, which creates a new grid, assign it to the same variable, prints it so I can see it, and then assign 0 to number of buttons clicked, and then using the for loop, if there's set the text to a null string, set the icon, because there can be an icon there too if if it was a bomb, set it to null and enable it to true. So this is what it is, my GUI class. I think I have explained enough. And then this is just the main method to run the Minesweeper class. So that is it. Thank you so much.